What we have here is a 2009 Toyota Camry SE with a 3.5 V6. Very good motor and the 6-speed automatic transmission. It is pulling the dreaded knock sensor codes, but the motor sounds perfect, and it's actually, the check engine light has actually gone off on its own, which tells me that it's probably just a faulty knock sensor. There is 2 knock sensors, and they are right next to each other. And it is the 2GR FE engine. Like I said, these are great engines, known to be very powerful and last for a very long time. The transmission's bulletproof, the motor's bulletproof. I mean, it's a Toyota. So we're going to replace both of the knock sensors. They're inside the V, bolted to the heads, and you have to take the intake manifold off to get to them. And since we're taking the intake manifold off, we're going to go ahead and replace the gaskets, of course, and the spark plugs, since we're going to be down that far into it anyway. So it looks like a convoluted mess, but it really isn't that bad. You can actually, no, you can't really see the knock sensors. They would be like way down up in there, but you can't really see them. The intake's got to come off. Then there's the second part of the intake that has to come off. Fuel rail's got to come out. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work, but it's not going to be too bad at all. We'll go ahead and get started. As is oftentimes the case when working behind, well, I guess has been somebody else, you find things weren't quite done just right. This clamp right here was completely loose, and it clamps around this throttle body. It doesn't look like it was really leaking, but it definitely should be tight. Also, we have a clip here that is totally missing, that's latched down like this. Is completely gone right there. And so this air filter was well, it's in there. There's a second filter, but where this was up, it was letting potentially unfiltered air into the motor. So that's not right. So we're definitely going to fix that and get a clip. We got to buy one. That's fine, we're going to get one. So that's done. Now we're going to take that intake manifold off. All right, we'll take the throttle body off. 10mm. That's that one. There's another one. There's another one. And another one. Okay, and so this throttle body, we're just going to lay it over to the side. There's no need to take all this other stuff off. There's plenty of room to just move it and drop it down out of the way. So we'll just keep working until we get down to the second part of the intake. Alright, so this top part of this intake manifold has 10mm right here, 10mm right here, but it's 5mm Allens here, there, and I left one. It was pretty tight because of the corrosion. It's not bad at all. And so we unplug this connector here, which goes to this. I'm not sure what that is yet. I guess I'm going to find out. And our PCV is unhooked right here. So this, I think that's everything. No, there's something else. What is holding it up? It's probably some mount that's holding the intake. Let's see. Yeah, back here there's a it's like a bolt right there that's holding this intake to it. Let me get that off. Alright, so we got that stubborn bolt out. It was a 12mm bolt, and it was on this bracket right here, bolted through that way into the intake manifold and holding it there. So next we're going to undo this fuel line right here that goes into this fuel rail and our regulator, and we're going to unplug all of these little fuel injectors. We're not pulling the fuel injectors, we're just pulling this lower intake so that we can get to our NOx sensors, which are buried deep in the V, the bottom of the head. Push that little blue tab down and then push and pull, and then it comes right out. A little bit of fuel pressure still on it because I just moved the car over here. Okay, so now we're just going to undo all these little bolts. There they are right there. Looks like Torx bolts or hex-headed bolts. We're going to use the hex-headed bolts. Alright, so we got our bolts loose. They were really tight, as you can tell. There's some corrosion, and yes, aluminum will corrode if you don't already know. So we had everything was 12 millimeter. These were our studs right here, and these are all just bolts. This right here has to come off. This is a 12 millimeter that's bolted to this lower intake. We have some 12 millimeter here. As you can tell, I've already loosened them up. This is a 14 millimeter. That's part of this bracket that's got to come off too. So then you can take this bracket off, set that with our pile, and then this bracket right here comes off so that we can just lift straight up on our intake and pull it off. And voila, there's our NOx sensors hiding down there. Little boogers. Put them in a bad spot, but we're going to take care of that. Alright, we're back. Here is the old NOx sensors. They are bolted right there and right there. And you will need a U-joint or a swivel head attachment, or maybe you got a 12 millimeter that is already built into it. That you will need that to get down straight onto the bolt to get it off. So there's the old ones. The new ones I've got here are Delphi's AS10172. I got these from Rock Auto. They were $180 at O'Reilly's. They were $80 on Rock Auto. So yeah, you had to wait a few days. I waited like 4 days. I ordered it on a Friday, and they come in on a Wednesday, or actually Thursday. So yeah, you have to wait, but if you want to save some money, definitely order it online. I would not recommend buying some kind of cheap aftermarket. You want to use factory stuff. Delphi is a factory substitute. The originals are Denzos, and I should have got some Denzos, but I got some Delphi's, which they're still good too. So we're gonna put these back in. Uh-oh, no return if opened. Oh well, we're not going to return this because we're going to put it in. So there is the new NOx sensor. We're going to put that down, right back down there, and we're going to put them both down up in there, tighten her up. And we already vacuumed all of this stuff out. I'm gonna vacuum it out again just to kind of clean it somewhat. And before I put any of this other stuff back on, I do intend to replace these spark plugs on both these, because this is definitely much easier to get to them now. So we'll do that here in just a moment. All right, so we got all the coil packs out. There's the back. That's bank 1. This is bank 2. By the way, I never said it. Toyota does these kind of different. I'm used to working on General Motors and Chevys. So Toyotas, that is bank 1. This is bank 2. That is opposite from General Motors. Like on the LS, the driver's side is on a LS rear engine or front engine rear wheel drive. Driver's side is bank 1, passenger side is bank 2. Opposite on this Toyota. So got the back ones out. You gotta undo all of this, unplug the spark plug wires, and pull them out. And there they are. So here's the old spark plugs. They don't look all too bad. They were Bosch iridium, and I'm not sure if they're a double iridium. Not sure if they're factory or not. They don't look bad at all. But the new one is a ruthenium by NGK. There's part number LFR6AHX-S. There it is, a little better. They look pretty good. And so yeah, we're already in there. Better go ahead and throw some new ones in. At least all the 6 that come out were all the same kind of plug. That's always a big plus. So here we go. Whoop. My little rubber thing is worn out in my spark plug socket. So just drop it in there real easy. This is the last one. I've already done the other ones. Screw it in till it gets fingers snug, and then we'll ring it off in there. Actually, do not do that. It's an aluminum head. You just don't want to put too much torque on it. It's probably about 15 pounds of torque. It's not much, and we're good. Now that everything's back in there, new knock sensor, new spark plugs, we're going to put the boots back in it and do everything in reverse order. So if anything weird comes back up, I'll let you know. If not, we'll see what it looks like when we're done. You hear that sound? The sound of success. It's done, put together. Just got to put the cover back on, and we are good to go. Praise the Lord. Wasn't too bad.